You're first. Welcome. You're on the Diane Rehm Show.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. Couple of things you've already discussed I want to make comments on, and I'll listen to your responses. I attended the march on Wednesday. I did not see that as a political event, but as a commemoration of the 50-year anniversary and supporting human and civil rights, which I consider to be a moral imperative, not a political point of view. And so I was very disappointed that no Republicans chose to participate in it from the podium. And more than that, it just really, really saddens me because I think it talks about the content of our character as a nation and how it's deteriorated with the split we have. And then I also found it ironic that the civil rights era was conducted through nonviolent protests, even in spite of being nearly killed and beaten and everything. And here we are commemorating this march, and on the same day, President Obama is thinking of taking military action against Syria, which has no direct relationship to stopping what they're doing. It seems to me if we want to make a statement about it in a moral way, we can take a long time to make that statement, and we should be deliberative about it. We never bombed South Africa to stop apartheid.
Elizabeth, thanks very much for your call. We appreciate it. Ron, talk about the absence of Republicans. As we said, they were invited. Both Presidents Bush were invited. Speaker Boehner was invited. Jeff made the point. It lent a cast of a more partisan event. But did that also reflect the absence of Republicans reflect something about the current tone and mood of Washington?
Absolutely. I think it would have been extremely difficult for John Boehner or any of the other Republican leaders to appear at that event and not have that be ammunition for people within their own party to suggest that they were too close to Obama, that they were participating in a Democratic pep rally, which I don't believe it was a Democratic pep rally, but it could be portrayed as that by some of the people within the Republican Party who think John Boehner is some kind of closet Democrat. So he had a problem with that. I think there was one glimmer of hope, which was George H.W. Bush was invited, as you say, and he wanted to come, but he has health issues. He is obviously advanced in age and has been ill. So he was not able to come, and that would have been nice to have had at least one Republican president, and I should add someone who back in the 1960s was present for the housing bill vote in 1968 in Congress and voted for it. So he would have that connection to the civil rights era, and that would have been at least one bipartisan note that could have been
sent.
And
of course, Sheryl, people forget that in the 60s, Republican support in Congress was absolutely critical to passing these civil rights bills. It's not as if this has been historically a partisan issue. When you had Southern Democrats not voting for these bills, it was Everett Dirksen, the Republican leader in the Senate, who was critical in forging a coalition. Right. So there's a long history there of Republican support for civil rights.
I'd like to actually offer a slightly different view of the absence of Republicans, which I think is frankly more the result of a lot of miscommunication and sort of happenstance than any grand plan on either the part of the organizers or the Republican Party. The organizers did invite the elder President Bush and President George W. Bush. Both cited health difficulties. The elder President Bush is very frail, and his son recently had a heart procedure. They seem to have worked hard to try to get Republicans to attend. House Republican leader Eric Cantor has been very interested in these issues. He marched with John Lewis, the civil rights icon, in Selma earlier this year in a reenactment of that Bloody Sunday march. But for a variety of reasons, in part because scheduling in the summer is very difficult and these leaders do fundraise, that's a fact of life in Washington, they weren't there. And I would say that Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and other Democratic leaders also were not there. They were also back in their districts doing fundraising. So while it looks very bad, I think, and it's very unfortunate for the Republican Party, which is trying to recruit minorities and reach out to minorities, and also unfortunate for the organizers because it comes off looking like a partisan event. I truly don't think that that was the intent on either side.